And we are live. Beer Guys Radio in the studio, Marietta, Georgia. This is episode 294 of Beer Guys Radio. We are here with Covert Artisan Ales out of Sioux Falls, South Dakota. We have Dan and Stacey Berry here with us. Y'all, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, absolutely. We love it. I think we share a lot of the same beer interests. Drinking, for one. So
the drinking of beer, yes, we do. Yeah.
We even decided, since you sent us such beautiful beers, we usually use just our little globe snifters to drink. We broke out some nice Tekus here.
We got stems. Yeah,
we have stems this week.
I'm going to extend my pinky the
Pinky's
entire
out
time
and enjoy it. We're currently sipping Dana, which is absolutely beautiful, and this is a wild ale, dry hopped with Nelson Sauvin, and it's good stuff. It is good stuff. So. For those watching the live stream, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comments. We will come back and chat with you when we take a break from recording our radio segments. And I think that's what we're going to do right now. So, Dan, Stacey, ready to record some radio?
Sure.
All right, here we go.
Open up a tab, grab a seat, and pour a pint. It's time for the Beer Guys Radio Show.
You want free beer? Go to the brewery.
Dedicated to the art, science, and enjoyment of craft beer.
Yo, what's wrong with the beer we got?
Now, here are your hosts, Tim Dennis and Brian Hewitt.
And welcome to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We're broadcasting from the Beer Guys Radio studios in Marietta, Georgia. And this week, we're talking with Covert Artisan Ales. I'm Tim Dennis, and with me, as always, is my good friend and co-host, Brian Hewitt.
Hey, Tim. So joining us today, we have Dan and Stacey Berry, co-owners of Covert Artisan Ales. We're going to talk about barrels, spontaneous fermentation, and perhaps military intelligence. All these things go together. Stacey and Dan, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. An interesting combination there. Absolutely. With military intelligence.
I mean, usually
barrels.
when I'm talking about wild ales, it goes to military intelligence eventually.
I think it does with everyone, though.
Pretty much.
Right?
Well, yeah,
Yes.
probably.
Yeah.
Probably so.
No, thanks again. We appreciate it. We're here. We are drinking your Dana American Wild Ale, dry hop with Nelson Sauvin. Good, tasty beer. We love spontaneous and wild ales. And we just opened this weekend. We were sitting around and we had a bottle of Dre Fontaine and Oud Geuze that's been in the fridge for a little while. And we were trying to decide what to drink, and nothing was stepping out there to say, drink me. And then we saw that in the corner, and like, that's the one. That's the winner. And it was. That's a favorite.
Yeah, it's a great
drink
one.
a lot. So.
Yes.
And I love that it lasts forever. So I'm in no rush. I have too many beers in my cellar, but that one was, I think it was good until 2038. So we had plenty of time to get to it.
We did. But
Nice.
no point in wasting time.
Yeah, exactly. And we know it holds up that long because we had one that was about 20 years old, and it was amazing.
99, I
Yeah.
think. So we had a 99 bottle. Local beer bar had their anniversary, and one of their cellar selections in 2019.
Yep.
So it was 20 years old. One of their cellar selections was a 99 Oud Geuze. So we enjoyed that. It was really nice.
Indeed.
Well, Brian, I saw something recently where people were talking about their most controversial opinions, and they were talking about various topics and just saying, what's your most controversial opinion on this or that? So I'm going to ask, and Dan, I'm going to start with you, and we're going to ask you the tough questions. We're going to come right out of the gate with the tough questions. Do you hold a most controversial beer opinion? And if so, what is it?
I mean, I guess there's a few that could be said, but the one that I would probably go with would be a wild ale is a wild ale if you harvested yeast from the wild and not purchased commercial cultures.
Okay.
Oh,
Fair.
Shots fired.
That's-
Anything that it causes controversy is a good, bad opinion to have because it'll more ears and eyeballs on the show. So that's good for us.
I mean, it's also just my opinion too.
Yeah.
Right, and that's the great thing about it. But we've had discussions around that topic a few times with a few different brewers, and talking about like a brewer saying lambic style or something along that, and I forget, like the Methode Traditionale, how that came about, and I think it wasn't a Jester King that originally kind of got things shaken. With,
I think so. Yeah,
Yes.
they wanted to be respectful and not call it
Yeah.
geuze and lambic because those are
I
protected
think
styles.
the lambic group out of Belgium came at it just kind of like how the Champagne region came at it from other areas.
Right. Even within that lambic group, what is it? Horal, I think, Horal. I think even within that group that there's infighting there on all these definitions there.
I believe one of the big lambic geuze producers actually split from them for some reason. I have no idea why, but I believe I've heard that. So
controversial with
a lot of controversial opinions there.
Yeah. How about that? Well, Stacey, how about you? Do you hold a controversial beer opinion?
So I don't think I do, but I've heard some that I question a little bit.
Okay.
I had someone once tell me that breweries like Budweiser should be considered craft because part of the art of making a beer is making it taste the same every time.
Okay. Okay.
Ooh, yeah.
Interesting talking point there.
Yeah.
To one respect, I can understand that they have mastered the art of consistency. I guess there's that.
Were you careful not to say they have mastered the craft?
Yeah, the art of consistency. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
There's always the kettle sour one, Stacey.
Oh, yeah. Also.
Okay. All right.
Oh, yeah. Also, I'm like, let me get comfortable here.
Let's go. That's right. Let me hunker down and go. Sure.
I mean, I don't want to say that kettle sours aren't real sours, but
well, I mean, all you got to do, they are. All you've got to do really is just take you a clean beer and drip some lactic acid in there, right? And then you're pretty much set. I think that's really all you have to
honestly, yes. And I think some places just do that. Why bother letting the bacteria do anything when you can get predictable results out of using a little bit of acid?
And it is the exact same thing as a true spontaneous American wild ale. There's
exactly the same.
No difference.
Zero difference at all.
That's one thing. When you see people do like a kettle sour and call it a lambic.
Oh yes. Yes.
We don't do kettle sours at all.
Okay.
I mean, there's a place for it, but I think the line for me would be don't call it a wild ale. Call it a kettle sour or call it in that category.
I could get on. I could get on board with that.
There's definitely a lot of things being called sours out there that are not at all sour. I'm like, your fruit puree thing may have a tiny bit. It's not really a sour beer. I mean, let's be honest here.
Smoothie with one drip.
Key lime sour.
Exactly. You got a little bit of citrus tingle in there. It's not really a sour.
He must have been watching our feed last week because I think we drank a key lime. A key lime kettle sour, didn't we?
Yeah. Yes, we did.
No, you know what? I'm on board with that. Like I enjoy kettle sours. I like the fruited sours, and it's just a slight tartness, but I definitely get that the artistry is not the same, and to put them in the same class is, I don't think it's right.
Yeah.
It just adds another extra hurdle for education on communities and such. But
absolutely, and people still don't know what they're getting. Lots of education going. Brian, I know that you're a fair and balanced kind of guy.
I'm so fair and balanced.
But do you have any controversial beer opinions?
Yeah, I've thought it through, and I've decided it contributes to flavor or mouthfeel. Okay. So just for the appearances of being haze, it's a brewing flaw. It should be corrected.
Okay.
That's my controversial opinion.
I didn't even know you held. I'm learning so much about you tonight.
I hadn't really thought about it until I was like, well, what do I think controversial? Like haze is mostly BS. Like, okay, you know what? I'm like, yeah, I do really believe that. So yes.
On that note today, I saw someone post on Twitter. They were talking about they went in to a brewery and they're talking to the barkeep there about the beers that they have. And they're like, well, we've got this, but it's not a hazy, it's a West Coast. And they're like, okay, let me get that. Oh, good, a West Coast IPA. He's like, I get it home and open it up, and it's absolutely not a West Coast IPA. And they're like, have we gotten to the point where those are the only two categories
we've forgotten?
Look at? There's the hazy and West Coast, and people don't know about anything else existing.
So it's an IPA without an obvious brewing flaw and one with a brewing flaw, and they both taste about the same. So
if it's hazy, it's Northeast. If it's clear, it's West Coast.
If haze doesn't do anything other than change the color of the beer, it's just a brewing flaw. It should be corrected.
No, Mike, Nate, do you have any controversial opinions to share?
I was the one that brought up the haze thing to Brian.
Okay, because I was going to say he could swing the mic over to you. He could share there with you, but
he might have gotten
you
me down
will
there.
remain no Mike Nate.
That's right.
So
No mic for a reason. Well, Tim, I think did you have one? Did you?
You know what? I'll throw out real quick. Mine's kind of lazy. I'm going to go seasonal. I did more thought on the question than the response, but you shouldn't ever drink a Oktoberfest beer before the 1st of September. They shouldn't come out in July. And that extends to all seasonal beers, pumpkins, and all that. I think, when people say seasonal, because there will be people that are totally opposed to a pumpkin beer coming out in October, in July. But when the same Oktoberfest hits the shelf, they're all about that. And it's contradictory. And you got to stand your ground. You got to stand against seasonal creep. That's my opinion there.
I know you believe it, and we're almost out of time, but we probably should get into the beers of the week.
You know what? We're going to bring that in the next segment, Brian, because
Okay.
I don't even think we have time for that. We got to talking controversy, and we just used up all our time.
That is a good point.
You don't get to share any news.
I didn't even get to talk about how people 2,700 years ago like beer and cheese together, and they've proven it. I'm like, that's a whole
You
thing.
know what? What do we got? What do we got here, Nate?
Who doesn't like beer and
15
cheese?
seconds or so. How did they find this out, Brian?
They paleo feces. They extracted
Paleo feces.
old
That's a
preserved
diet,
feces
right?
in a mine. It was a salt mine, so they were preserved. So that's how they found out. They found
Okay.
the presence of ale yeast and blue cheese.
Okay, I think I have some friends that are on that paleo feces diet.
That's right.
Yeah.
I think we all do, actually. Yes.
Yeah, good stuff. Well, that's it. We just totally went off the rails in this segment, but that's okay. We are going to take a break. You're listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show, and we will be right back with Covert Artisan Ales. All right.
Guess
Let's
what?
do what we got to do.
Oh, is Joey's out, right?
Joey's out.
So
This
you're
actually
gonna
be easier for me.
Oh, okay. You skip it, or are we gonna bring in the beers of the week in the second?
No. We may mention, but I don't think we'll do the element.
Okay.
So we'll just
Easy
talk
enough.
about it.
Easy enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Huh? No, we're good. We're good. So we normally have a producer that does the post-production for us, but he's out this week, and I have to do post-production. And us going off the rail, off script a little bit in the first segment actually makes my job easier.
Yeah.
So I'm good with it.
No inserting of produced elements. It just
Rock and
through.
roll, man.
I saw we
Just
were at
rock
9
and
minutes.
roll.
I'm like, wow, your quick shot wasn't so quick, Tim.
No. Okay. If it doesn't happen.
It was interesting. It was more fun than I thought it would be, but yes, it was not a fast one.
We're
Yeah.
just fun to talk to.
That's right. We're at,
Yeah.
and in all honesty, certain topics come up, and I've got opinions on everything. So you say this or that, I'm like, oh yeah, good point. Blah 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 blah. So, like talking about the kettle sours, and don't call it a wild ale if you didn't harvest that yeast yourself. If you had a smack pack to start your beer off, then it's not a wild ale. So
I find that the people that have strong opinions about the wilds and the sours and all that are the ones who spend the most time producing it the hardest way. The people
sure.
who take the very quickest route to get it to market usually are pretty okay with just about anything being called a wild or a sour.
Was it Chad Jacobson that was like he didn't like the flavor descriptors?
I think you might be right. Was the horse blanket one, right? Yeah, he
didn't
very much disliked that.
We were talking to him, and he's like, we got to start using terms like horse blanket and barnyard, and it's like, who wants to drink? Yeah, right, exactly.
So I could tell there's a fairly, speaking of horse blanket, I always think Brett when I amount of Brett character in this. Which one was this? Dana. And
This is Dana.
I love
Yep.
Brett, and I miss Brett because I almost never encounter Brett anymore.
Yeah.
So I do enjoy that a great deal. I like that a lot.
There's our non-controversial opinion. We don't see enough Brett Saisons, and I just love a good Brett Saison.
Yes.
I'm on board for that. We got what did we get into recently? Like we found one. We're like, man, I love these. Why aren't there more of these again?
That was that Blue Tarps? They had a.
They did have one that was pretty nice.
It was a Brett beer that they'd held on to forever, and they canned some of it. It's a very intense Brett character, and it was awesome. It was really good. It was one of the best, probably their best beer I've had since Hopster the Grouch. I'm guessing.
Oh, that was good. Yeah.
But I'm getting into Brett table beers. We started releasing a couple of those. We're about to release one coming up.
I'm down with that too.
Very cool. Awesome.
Our cat's named after Brett.
Yeah, Bretta.
Okay.
So the beers are Bretta.
Yeah.
The first one was Peach Bretta, where we just use spent peaches from another beer called Peach AF.
All right.
And then the next one is Bretta C.
Oh, so you're moving your peaches around because I noticed there's quite a bit of peaches as fruit elements in your beers. So you could reuse them in different beers.
Here,
Makes
I'll
sense.
show you, Brian, what they're working on. I've got the picture here that you sent me today.
Yeah.
So they were doing a little processing today. Is that plums?
Is that looks like
Yes.
plums?
Plums,
is,
yeah.
They got to talk to Jason. He eats more plums than most
Comfortably plum. It's a holiday spiced plum sour.
people. Oh,
That sounds tasty. See the plum processing there?
Yeah, a local brewer has a T-shirt that he wears. It's based on a quote of his that it's something to the effect of "I eat more plums than most
I've
people."
eaten more plums. I've eaten more plums than most people. or something
Exactly.
along those lines.
He has a plum sour, and he's just
does,
a big plum fan. He just loves them. So
Apparently, the quote came out. They had like an after party with, and I guess everybody had a few drinks and everybody's kind of loose. And it was just one of those comments that came off. He's like, I just said it. They were talking about something, and with his chalice. Well, I've eaten more plums than most people. It's like,
I can
all right.
completely believe that coming from
Okay.
him. Yeah. And so I've seen him wearing that shirt around a few times. It's
Yeah.
great.
It's good stuff. Cool.
So he spent the time to make a custom individual shirt for this.
Someone actually brought it to him. Apparently,
Oh,
after
yeah.
he made that comment, one of his employees had the shirt.
They said
made.
this needs to go onto a
This needs to
shirt.
go on a shirt.
Because he would never think to do something like that himself.
Yeah.
I don't think, but
Yeah.
he would wear the heck out of it, and I believe he has. So yeah.
But he does a lot of like open fermentation, true spontaneous brewing, and stuff like that. I think he just put out his first MT3 last year, right?
I believe so.
Like a
Yeah. I
3-year
don't know if we have
blend
one
or
in here,
something,
but
so-
yeah. Everything Lasts Forever is one of them. And
Yeah.
he had a blend of 2 years worth of lambic styles that was fantastic. And I forget Yesternow. I love that.
Okay.
And that's developed over time. I've got a bunch of bottles of those because seriously, they're both amazing beers.
They're good beers, yeah.
Really well done.
Dan, Stacey, where do we go after Dana?
Oh, I would do the Bang Bangs. Side by side
The Bang
comparison
Bangs.
of the Bang Bangs.
Cool. All right. That
Yeah,
sounds
that
good.
sounds
to me.
great.
Both of the Bang Bangs, sir. Yeah, pop it up there. We got Tim Phillips.
So that's
chiming-
bang, bang,
Yeah.
bang, bang.
Tim
4
Phillips,
bangs.
Comfortably Plum. So that is one of the table beers there.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was
Cool.
that's what Tim served for his family's Christmas dinner.
That's all. That sounds like a fantastic
great idea.
Christmas beer.
Yeah, that's both. Oh,
But we'll start with gin, probably.
yeah. Start with gin.
I'm
yeah.
assuming
Okay.
start with gin and then the rye. Or you said side by side them, right?
Yeah, I would
Let's
side by
do it.
side.
Let's do this.
All right. Yeah, I'm not afraid of it.
Let's see. Brian, would you grab us some other glasses so we can do
Oh, you got
the
you got
box is right behind you there.
Oh, you want? Oh, okay.
There's 3 that you pulled onto the table already.
Yeah. So we can do this. We'll need just a minute to prep and then we'll be ready for this party to continue.
Yeah.
Let's see. I
All
think
right,
I've got
all
another
right,
clean
all
one
right.
here.
There
Yep,
we
so
go.
I got 2.
I've got like
I
eight
got those.
empty glasses in front of me.
And doubling down.
Okay.
Nate, you want to give me some camera zoom here and I'll share y'all if we can get labels. Let me try this again. There we go. Let's see how well we can do this. So there we go. We're going to do the Bang Bangs. We have a gin barrel and a rye barrel. We're going to see what's up with that.
Okay. The fonts you use on the label, that's something you created in house? Because I think they're a little
no.
different than.
So we paid for Stacy found this font. It was just called Futura Pro, I think. So we paid the commercial license for it.
Because it stood out to me. I couldn't figure out if it reminded me of something or if it was just that it was a little on the unusual side.
So I think it's kind of both. It reminds me a little bit of
Gender.
like the Art Deco from
Yeah.
the 20s.
Oh yeah,
It
yeah.
does have
Yeah.
an Art Deco look to it. Sure
But
does.
the really
yeah.
cool thing about it is depending on the word and depending on the length and depending on like the preceding and following letters, it changes.
Okay.
So like
All right.
an A might be the A with the little fancy hook over it, or it might just be a regular A depending on
It's
But
like
how
a
is it?
dynamic
How it
font.
comes together. Okay,
Yeah.
A
gotcha.
little bit like writing in
Yeah, it's
time.
really cool.
I know that it has multiple levels that change depending on the context of a character and a word. So that's kind of neat. Okay, yeah, it's distinctive. It sticks out.
Okay, definitely the aroma. Definite, difference there on the aroma. That we slightly.
The gin is darker.
It is a little bit, isn't it?
It's
Okay,
not as,
slightly.
opaque.
Let's see. Here we go.
How about
One
that?
gin.
Looking at these.
So
Rye. Okay, that does say rye on it. Okay, just making sure I got the right ones in the right order here.
Yep.
maybe Dan can tell you a little bit about those two beers.
You know what, Dan? We're gonna taste and we're gonna get back into the actual show recording. And we'll talk about these when we come in.
Yeah.
We're just
Capture all the
Yeah.
magic
Yeah.
in the most maximum beneficial way possible.
The mouth
good.
I
magic.
didn't want to. I don't want to waste listeners' time with me going for 30 seconds there. So cool.
Well, I mean, there is a big difference in the ABV. I think there's like 1%, right?
Okay. All right.
Yeah, correct. The gin has an additional 1% above the rye.
Well, maybe that's why I
Okay.
liked it.
Yeah, a little more, a little boost.
They were smaller barrels, so you had more surface contact, which pulled a lot of.
Oh, that rye is really good.
I got to say, man,
Ooh.
I dig the gin, but I got to say that rye.
Yeah,
is
you might have
tasty, too.
predicted it properly. I am a big fan of the rye, but I mean, ooh, man, that's really good.
I think it finishes a little drier too. A little drier, maybe a little more tartness.
I think
Brighter?
the flavors play off the barrels differently. So the gin is it plays a little more off of the botanicals and the apricots and peaches.
Right.
And then the rye plays more off of that wheat yeast and the wild yeast.
Mm-hmm. It's always fun to see how those treatments change things. Cool.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Back off, man. I'm a scientist.
Now, back to the Beer Guys radio show.
Welcome back to the Beer Guys Radio Show. Remember, all episodes are available on demand. So if you missed the broadcast, get the podcast. Beer Guys Radio is available on all popular and unpopular podcasting apps. Now let's get back to Covert Artisan Ales.
Covert Artisan Ales, man. We are having so much fun here, Brian. During the break, we opened a couple bottles of beer, both Bang Bang.
Yes.
Which is a mixed fermentation beer, but one aged in gin barrels and one in rye barrels. And if you've listened to the show, Brian likes his rye. So I made the prediction that he may like that one better. I thought I'd like the gin barrel better because I like those botanicals and stuff that come into the gin. But Dan, before I ramble too much more and to give me a little time to do a little sipping here, can you tell us about Bang Bang and kind of the process in these two beers?
Yeah, well, Bang Bang originally was stainless steel fermented. I want to say we did about 4 to 6 months. I would have to go through the brew logs just to see. It's been a while. And then so each Bang exclamation point is a fruit. So it's peach and then apricots. We did exclamation marks just because I used to do I still do some development, and Bang is just a term for it. So, but we took those and then put them into barrels for well over a year, maybe 14, 15 months. The gin barrels were small format gin barrels. So we're looking at 30 gallon ones. And we did a total of 4 of those. And the rye, I don't know if we're supposed to say which ones
who it is.
From.
Okay.
Yeah, so, but it was a nice rye barrel that we were able to get. So, the gin ones we blended together, but we took the top gin barrels, or what we thought had the best flavor profile on it, and then added additional apricots to it. So that one was Bang Bang Bang.
Bang Bang Bang. Okay. How many bangs have you put into a beer?
Well,
3.
bang, bang, bang.
Bang, bang, bang. Okay, there you go.
I
There's
think
been
you
a lot
need to
of
do
bangs.
a
Total bangs.
cornucopia, like just be a page full of bangs, like every fruit you can find.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Well, we do one called Peach AF where we continuously fruit it for 6 months. So every month we add
Oh,
more
wow.
peaches
Okay.
to it. So it usually gets to about each year is different until it hits that profile that we really like. But I think the most that we've done is about 9 pounds per gallon of peaches.
Okay. Wow. That's a lot of peaches.
A lot of peaches.
Now,
AF.
AF,
AF,
right?
indeed.
Exactly.
It checks out. It really
Now,
does.
With feeding it, I know you always get a little bump from the sugars in fruit, but with that continuous feeding, do you see, is it substantial, the ABV boost that you get from that?
Actually, it dilutes it.
It does dilute. The juice dilutes. Okay,
Yep,
gotcha.
yep.
All right.
So,
All right.
So you mentioned that you're not sure if you can say what the barrels are. If you're worried about us, don't worry. You can say whatever. But if you're worried about the provider, then another thing. I'm curious what barrels these were.
I can answer for Dan on this one. He doesn't care what you think.
Oh, okay. All right.
I can tell you that much. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought he was concerned about us. I'm like, no, please go on, please, absolutely.
He doesn't care. He doesn't.
Yeah,
care.
but we're covert for a reason, guys.
There you go. Exactly. We've
Some of
already
those
went over
secrets.
this.
Yeah, all right.
we
Secrets.
do get some pretty nice select barrels, so I like to ensure that we get those still.
Well,
Right.
what do you look for in barrels? I saw on your Instagram that you were out there picking barrels and looking them over very closely. And I'm like, what are you looking for in barrels? Are you looking for particular spirits? Or are you looking for particular qualities of the barrel itself?
A lot of times it's the smell, how tight it is. A lot of people look for a nice wet barrel, just because it's going to increase. You're going to get that bourbon, or you're going to get the rye boost, and that's the only legal way that you're allowed to add that.
Right.
You can't just. It's not like the homebrew days where you could go and buy, I don't know, some Thomas Handy and dump it in there.
Right.
But
fortified, I think.
Yeah.
That, right.
Yep. So, I mean, a lot of it is just going off of the smell and then grabbing a flashlight and looking inside. So I think a lot of people don't actually look inside the barrels, and you'd be surprised what you can actually find in some of them.
There's some really weird stuff in barrels.
Okay. I can see that.
Examples? I mean, that sounds terrifying, actually.
I've heard some people local have said that they found like cigarettes in it before. They've found strings,
towels.
Towels, yeah. Just anything that's been packed in it, type thing.
Yeah. Maybe that's where some of those old ales get that tobacco-y flavor they get.
The
Somebody's
cigarettes in the
actually
barrel.
throwing cigarettes in the barrel. Like, this is amazing. The tobacco flavor. Like, what's your secret? Can't tell you.
Barrel-aged Rausch beer.
That's it. Yeah. This was aged in a bourbon barrel and on a pack of Camels. What was that last part? Well, I'm sorry, that last part.
Were they blues or Camel Crushes? Because that's a very
Just
important character.
Pop a few beads and get your little menthol in there.
So it was a filtered beer, huh?
Yeah.
That's right. It was filtered.
Filtered beer.
It was filtered. Yes.
Oh, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
as we drink through these, I had said, Brian, you know what? Before I say anything, was I correct in my prediction? Do you prefer the rye over the gin?
I do believe I do prefer the rye to the gin.
All right. The first sips I took on this, I thought I was with you. I thought I had incorrectly predicted myself. As this sits here and breeze and I swirl and I smell and I drink more, I don't know. I'm undecided now. I'm on the fence. They're both tasty.
They're both very good. They're both very good. And it'd be hard pressed to, I wouldn't refuse either one of them. But if they were saying you have to pick one, you can only have one, I'm like, well, give me that rye one.
Yes. Yeah. So, you know what, guys, we've just kind of went our own way this week, but we're going to back up a little bit and give some folks some background on Covert Artisan Ales. So, Stacey, do you want to share with us kind of the origin story of your brewery?
Yeah, sure. So, Dan and I were living overseas in Germany. He's always had an interest in brewing. We've been together for almost 13 years, and we've talked about. He's had multiple ideas of a brewery for this, or like a baking brewery, like just multiple ideas. And so he had met a guy in Germany while on an exercise, and he was in southern Germany at an exercise for the army, and he had met up with some of the Belgian support unit troops. And they were talking about beer, and one of the Belgian guys had said, hey, Peter over here owns a brewery. So Dan and Peter started talking, and they talked about Belgian beers and styles, and those were kind of our favorites at the time. And so Peter had said, come on over anytime you guys want to. And we kind of forgot about it for a little while. And then we had gone up, Dan had suggested going up to Belgium to visit these guys, and we had gone to visit their brewery and hung out with them for quite a while. They just, talking to them about their styles. And then over the course of, I would say probably about 4 years, we had gone up probably like every quarter, every 4 months or so. And Dan became pretty good friends with the main brewer. We got to know them pretty well. And Dan was, the whole time asking questions about, how do I do this? What are the best ways to do that? And the brewer was kind of like, why don't you just, when are you just going to shut up and open your own place?
It's like, okay, all right.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
So when we moved back to the States, we ended up eventually moving to South Dakota, and that was kind of, we took a lot of that advice. Dan, took a lot of that advice to his recipes, and sort of went from there. And it was, our first release was really cool. It's actually the Dana that we're drinking now. We're on the third batch of it. And we released it to a local bottle shop, and they put it right next to this brewery's beer. So that was
that's pretty cool.
It was very cool. I thought so. So it was, I took a picture of it and sent it to them, and they were like, congratulations, guys.
So there you go. There's those little things that happen when you do your own business, or you go out something like that just benchmarks, milestones. You're like, this is real. This is happening. This is here. This is super cool. It's always fun stuff there.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, you know what? We've got just a few minutes left. We're going to sample through some more. We'll talk about some of the other beers that we've got. We're going to talk spontaneous ales, Brian. We've got to talk spontaneous, wild, funky beers.
Before I forget, I was going to ask both of them what their first sour beer was, but I think maybe we should tease it and wait for the next segment.
Should we do that, Nate?
I think we should.
All right.
We got the thumbs up on.
You know what? There's a teaser. We're going to start. We'll talk about it when we get back. You are listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back right after this.
Oh man.
Nate's over here and Brian's like, what? Let me see. I have a question.
Oh, I did not see the wrap it up thing. I missed that.
Brian's got a Brian.
That's
right.
He's famous for that. He likes.
I do like
that.
squeezing things at the. Hey, you know what? We do need the extra padding in each segment. So if I run over, it can be chopped out very easily.
Nate's like, we got 5 seconds left. Brian's like, could you tell me what are your thoughts on the ultimate cause of the fall for the Roman Empire?
Yes, what are your philosophies on brewing overall?
Right. Start at the beginning. So that Brian. That's so Brian.
Say if our segments nail it in terms of time, you're welcome.
Don't run too much. I gotta edit.
So this stuff isn't recorded now, right?
Oh yeah, it's all there, man. Every bit of it.
This doesn't go out over the radio. This is streaming here, but yeah.
Right.
Yes. Stacy Crabtree Phillips' Dana is delicious. Named after Dan's daughter. Beautiful. It's a fantastic beer. I am all about this. Yeah. We got Brian with us. Guest Daniel Berry is a golden tea tonight. I think some of these people may know y'all. So
the night is still young.
We can't see what's in, we can't see what's in front of him. He might have a camera on a golden.
No, he does not have a camera on the golden tea.
I was gonna say, I don't know. I mean, it's just possible.
No, that's
how good of a player
with the green screen in his meetings while he's on a dirt bike.
Yeah. Oh, right. That's out there. Got it strapped to his back there. So So I take it you're a big fan of golden tea, Dan.
We have it at the tap room.
Yeah. Okay.
So
That was
Is
the
that because you're a
concession
big
name.
fan? Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It was along the lines of like, why are you going out and spending money on other people's beer to play golden tea when we could get one at the tap room and you could stay
See?
here and bring our friends to our tap room?
There you go.
That's brilliant thinking right there, because I thought what you were going to say, why are you buying this dumb machine for the tap room? Go play it somewhere else. Like, no, don't drink their beer. Come to the tap room, play it here, and drink ours.
They've got this elaborate backstory for why they started their brewery, but the real reason is that Dan needed some place to put his golden tea.
That's right.
So you had to get that. Yeah.
Well, we don't actually own it. So
oh, okay.
Build a business around the golden tea.
Yeah.
Do they still produce a new one of those every year?
Yeah.
I know for a while they were
that's
huge.
the key why you don't want to own one.
Yeah, that's certain things like that. We've talked about Trim Tab Brewing in Birmingham, Alabama before, that the owner there, he goes by, after hours, he is DJ Sex Panther. And some of his employees have joked that the only reason he ever opened a brewery was to have a place to DJ. So he does that.
And he does a pretty decent job based on the streaming that we saw during the pandemic. So I would catch it and watch it.
I enjoyed it. Yeah. It was good stuff.
So
quality stuff.
Has he ever linked any beer names with Sex Panther?
I don't think he's crossed the streams there, so to speak.
I don't think so.
Other than playing in the tap room. Yeah.
He likes to keep those parts of his life separate, apparently.
Except actually
at the brewery,
right,
except at the brewery itself.
Not on the counters, not on the SKUs there. So cool. All right. Where to next, Dan? What should we open next?
I would do Pratom.
Okay, cool.
Say it again. So how do you say it?
So I don't speak French, but Stacey does.
Okay.
The way that she has informed me that I need to say it is Prim Tom.
We Googled it, and Google has a little thing where you can press the button and they'll say it. So we did that a few times and tried our best to get it there.
Yeah, it's like where we would always go into Belgium is just at the southern, like southwest region, and
right?
It's just by the French border. So you're going to see all sorts of different influence. I mean, Belgium itself has German areas, French areas, Dutch areas.
All right, cool. I knew there was the Dutch and French.
Yeah, Dutch, French, and German.
There.
Yeah, it all makes sense. They've got the three influences, and I was briefly there for another reason, but I did get to check out. I didn't do any of the any exciting places in terms of the wild stuff, really, but I did do a Trappist brewery, which was fun.
Right.
La Trappe. So
okay,
yeah,
cool. Yeah,
that was cool. I enjoyed that
cool.
a great deal. They treated us well there. It was a good time. Make some good stuff, and that's when I learned that some of those Trappist breweries are actually producing things like IPAs you just didn't know about. They're making them there. So I'd never seen them before. They had like pale ales. They had, I think they might have even had a non-alcoholic beer on there, which I'm like, yeah, wow, really?
Just the American market isn't getting excited over La Trappe's IPA.
Yeah, we were getting maybe a third of their SKUs, or like they had just a ton of stuff there. And I'm like, wow, you guys do a lot of stuff here that I'd never even heard of. So that was cool. Very cool.
That sounds cool, Brian.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Stout talk.
Are we gonna have time to get to stouts? We're still talking wild spontaneous beers. Find out.
Yeah, it's ironic because we started doing just wild ales, and then we included spontaneous ones and saisons, and then we did a stout, and it was extremely popular.
Cool.
So
yeah. All right.
We do more stouts, and then we started playing around with. I guess they could be like pastry kind of sours, where it's like fruit and other combinations that you fold into it. When we first started, we did in temperature control. So we were pretty much limited for about 6 months of the year. Then we had been playing around with Kvite for some time. And I had taken some lacto that I harvested off of a vegetable, and then fused that with Covert. So we had 2 different strains and then some Saison. We internally call it Special K.
Okay. All right.
And we'll do those they usually ferment around 85, 90 degrees.
Right.
And then we'll have those at like 2 months later, and then we can start folding in some ingredients. So we've been playing around with those, and those, you learn your market pretty quick.
Right. Exactly.
And as Stacey likes to say too, you can sell those kind of ales to start making the ones that you want.
Sure.
So-
Yeah, I get that. That was, I don't know if it would be a controversial opinion, but a good example. We have a brewery here that is young, but has very quickly made themselves known as a first-class, top-notch lager house. Classic old world lagers. Someone went into the brewery and posted on one of the forums, just super angry. I went in there, they only had 4 different beers on tap. I was in and out of there. I tried them all, was out of there in 30 minutes. They didn't even have a hazy IPA. They didn't have this. They were really upset that they didn't have this broad range of stuff. And I'm like, that's not who they are. If you went there expecting that, then you didn't know who you were going to see, basically. They've said before they even opened their brewery, this is what we're going to do. It's a place where you go to have expertly executed Pilsner, and you're going to drink 5 of those and not worry about ticking boxes on Untapped or anything. That's
Sounds like a lovely place.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. That's the brewer is actually Joran van Ginderochter. He was originally the brewer at 3 Taverns here in Atlanta, and
Correct.
actually there's a beer that they still do at 3 Taverns. What's the name of the beer, Brian?
Is it the wild one?
It is.
Not
And
Bread-O-Matic. It's something else.
Inceptus.
Inceptus.
It's Inceptus.
Yeah, that's right.
But right after one of our snow days here, he captured the yeast wild and developed it there, and they made it their house culture. But he went out on his own and decided, he was just going to do classic old world beers. You'll get a good lager there. He did a Czech beer days recently and had a lot of Czech styles, and there's a nice beer garden and a rooftop patio.
And they do Kolsch service very frequently too, which is
Kolsch
something that
and
I
all beer
love.
service. Yes.
So
So it's a fantastic place to hang out and have a few beers.
And the joke's on the person who complained, because I've been there when they've had an IPA on, and
Sure.
it was a fantastic IPA. They did it extremely well for that not really being their focus. They did a very good job on that.
If you go in there and you complain because they didn't have this or that, then you miss the forest for the trees.
Yeah.
At that brewery.
They are really low on pastry stouts.
They
I
are.
will say they don't have a lot of those.
Halfway Crooks beer. I don't think I mentioned
Yeah,
it. Halfway
Halfway
Crooks
Crooks,
beer, Atlanta, Georgia. So
Worth a
one of our
stop
favorites.
if you're
Good
in town.
stuff.
Worth a stop.
Sean and Joran are making magic over there.
Making good stuff.
Yep. We got some more. Christopher John, bottle share. Bottle share. He's making moves around the country there.
Raising funds for
He is.
people having issues in the industry. Yes.
Give me a good chance to shout out. Throw him back up there, Nate. Christopher John is the Chris. I forget your exact director.
That sounds about right.
The big man in charge there of Bottle Share, which is a national charity helping those in the craft beverages industry, and they give grants to those in need. Started out as a local charity, and it just caught fire. He's nationwide now. He's collaborating all over the country. Going on tours and traveling and just doing awesome stuff there. So
Very cool.
good stuff.
He
Right
can always
back
come
at
up
you,
to Sioux
man.
Falls.
Hey,
There you go. There you go, Chris. We got you connection in Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
There you go.
Now. So when you're making your trips there. So cool. All right.
that's where we at. We're on 3.
Good
yes?
dude, good cause.
Yes. Indeed.
I'm trying to savor these, but drink fast enough to move along, and I'm failing.
Yeah,
I'm doing my best.
that rye is so good. There's a little bit left in this bottle. I'm just gonna move it over to the side next to me. I'm just leave it right there.
I'm really getting fresh fruit in this. I think if this is still my Dana here. Wininess, fruity wine character, the hops. Yep.
did go into a wine barrel for a little bit of time. Possibly
Dana?
red wine.
No, Dana was
no.
never.
Never.
No.
Oh no, it wasn't. Okay, that
That's
was
all
the.
the
all
hop.
hoppy character
Yep.
there, Brian.
Oh,
Yep.
okay, all right. I misheard then.
Get me a little glass rinse. Open this bottle. We'll get back at it.
Okay,
It's
where are
the
we going next?
We're going to Printemps.
Oh, yeah.
Printemps. How close was I there, Stacy? We were talking about the pronunciation.
Pretty good.
Printemps,
Printemps.
somewhere there. We were saying that we went to Google to look it up and get the pronunciation because you can press a little arrow and it'll say it. But
Yeah.
they say it. It's a native speaker saying it with their accent and their little nostrily flare that the French do. So
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm still not sure if I'm getting this right.
Because I'm not used to hearing the sounds I was hearing. I'm like, I don't know. My brain doesn't know how to divide those into things that I can
Right.
comprehend. I'm like, that's a sound that I've never heard before.
Right. I can't quite put
I don't know
that
what
together.
that sound is.
I'll drink a couple of these and see if maybe that
What
helps.
is that made from a flugelhorn? I mean, I don't know where that sound comes from.
You're gonna make France angry, Brian.
Probably.
It's all
Yeah.
it's all in the back of the throat.
See? Yeah.
Is it a back of the throat thing? Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? There should be at least.
Yeah, I could. Now that I try it, joking around, I'm like, okay, I do see where that sound kind of.
Yeah.
I
There
thought
you
it
go.
was forcing up towards the nose. Honestly, not
Well, when you kind of try to force that from the back.
prontomps.
Prontomps. I can say, I think the phrase I'm the closest with is laissez les bon temps rouler.
Is that
So I
is
have
that
to pull the.
is it back
Yeah.
of the throat though? Is that where that's coming from, or you just got used to saying it and
I'm
don't
gonna
even
say
know?
yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with.
So the
yes.
answer is he has no idea.
It's both. It really is like in the
See?
back of the throat and
The
then up
nose and the
to the
throat
front.
there.
Yep.
See, we always learn so much on Beer Guys Radio. So.
They think we're just about beer. No, we're learning how to pronounce French. We're
So,
cultured.
Stacey, we've just decided on the next segment, we're going to spend the whole segment beginner French for beer drinkers.
Oh.
That's going to be it. So,
Okay.
there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, there.
how do
Oh my
you say
God.
whale in French?
Whale. No, I don't know.
Le whale.
The whale. Yeah.
How about haze boys? Is that
Hazy garçon.
See, there you go.
hazy garçon?
Les
I wanna-
hazy
let's-
garçons.
Let's
That may have to be my new hashtag.
Let's not do that to their culture, Brian.
Okay.
Some things need to stay here. They need to stay in the Instagram hashtags.
Yeah.
I think, so.
I don't know how you say hazy, so
See,
you anglify it a little
Hazy's
bit.
not even in there. That's one of those things where you'll hear like a channel I watch a lot runs commercials in Spanish, but they'll like when it's a branded name, the slogans they'll still say in English. So they'll say everything with a real deep Spanish accent, and they'll be like, "Go where the road takes you," in just perfect English. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah,
Wait a
switch
minute.
over to like perfect American pronunciation, English
Yeah.
pronunciation of some things. Like,
Good
wow,
stuff.
that's quite a talent to have. I'd like
It
to be
would
able to
be.
do that. Just like drop into it, And
Oh,
come
well,
back
we
out.
lived in Germany. You would ask a question, and you were like, I don't speak any English. Like, wow, you said
Yep.
that really well, though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
you're
was
like, you got that.
ridiculous. Like,
So
got
you've
that part
mastered
now.
you've mastered that phrase. You've had to say that a lot, haven't you? Yeah.
Well, I know some Spanish friends. It's a very fluid movement from English to Spanish. Like Spanglish, is that an actual thing where there's American phrases in Spanish and they just all go together?
Mix the two together.
Yeah, it's like there's not a clear
I was
separation.
gonna
It's
say
just
if
kind of all
everybody
there.
in the process is basically bilingual, then it makes sense. I'm sure that
Yeah, cool. All right, there we go. So much culture here.
Yeah, so culture, so refined. we
That's
are.
someone taking a chainsaw after the golden tea.
I think it's like the air pressure. Hang on 1 second.
Oh, the compressor kicking on or something.
Why
Okay.
is that on?
Yeah.
It does kind of sound like
Oh.
If it's a compressor, it'll fill up and get quiet here soon. So, Dan, do you know if that's what that is? Does that sound like the
yeah,
compressor?
that's exactly what it is.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, we get so. You know what? I haven't heard of them. They're usually out of here by the time we record our show. They're not brewing. But we've had a couple times we've had compressors. We've had to get silent, wait for the compressor
Yeah, it's always fun.
to do its thing.
I don't even know why it was on. Why-
There you go. They always come to get you. But it wasn't when we were on the radio segment, so at least
No, yeah,
we're good there.
all of my screw ups have been while we're not on.
That's right. Well timed.
Nicely
timed.
done. Nicely
Good
done.
stuff. All right. Are we going into 3, Nate?
It's 3.
Is that
yeah.
right? So let's see. You know what? Let's come back in and just get to talk about some wild and spontaneous brewing. Dan, Stacey, that sound good to you?
Yeah.
So we'll come back in and just mention real quick the beer that we're drinking, and then go into just some brewing talk.
That's right. The one that's inspired all the French pronunciation.
But
discussion.
you teased the first sour.
Oh,
so
yeah. What their first sours was that made them love it. All right. So we will ask
that.
Made
you fall in love. This may be tougher than the controversial.
Could be. Could well be.
All right. Nate, you ready? Bring us in, sir. What'd that say? I didn't like the look of that.
Yeah, that looked red.
Encountered an error and has stopped the recording.
Take that SD card out. Y'all give us just
technical
a moment.
difficulties.
We've got backups on StreamYard. If we need them, I can pull from there if we need to. It'll be a little more work, but it'll get the thing done. Check that card and see if we're good, and then let's put a new card in, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, we have an adapter for that probably somewhere.
We do. I think there's adapters in that wallet there. Yeah. Well, it didn't give you the error to try to record, so hopefully it didn't. Hopefully everything's not corrupt.
Yeah, let's hope not.
We had this with no card to record on, so now we've got like 10 SD cards. Just
we got plenty.
Did we lose them?
I think it froze. I don't know.
Oh, that's a bummer.
I might grab another beer though.
I might should too. I'll grab it first. I'll be right back.
All right. Oh. All right, my turn now.
Hey. Wow, so does that mean I'm the only one still live? I mean, if I am, we can totally talk about anything anybody wants to. Hello, Sioux Falls. Hang on. Hello. It sure is.
All right. We'll see you soon. All right. There we go. Good deal. All right. Thanks. This thing.
I think are we back on?
This thing.
Back on.
All right.
Apologies, people. We had a crash of our PC that does all of
Technical
the recording.
difficulties.
Right
Hey
up-
guys, welcome back to the show.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining
Welcome
us.
back to your
Yeah.
show.
That's
Yeah,
right.
right?
We even had.
We want to swap out SD cards.
We do.
Yeah, we
do.
really
So,
should.
since,
Yeah.
and we're not recording on the mixer. We know that. So we check the SD, we check the files, and we're good on the files we've done already. So we're going to swap this card out before we go any further here.
Okay.
So it seems to be. It'll just take a second here. So for those watching the stream, there you go. This is live. And,
Yeah, this is what happens
and
when
you know
things
what?
happen.
We even made a cool graphic to say we had technical difficulties happening, but since the computer crashed, we couldn't even. Where's that? Is it? Look at this. Look at this. We had.
Oh yeah, we have this. Yeah.
See.
But we went down.
So
Yeah.
there we did.
There you go. After the fact, technical
After the
difficulties
fact.
were had.
Man, I couldn't even use my cool graphic. Crazy stuff. Well, y'all, thanks for your patience there, and we'll be going again.
It gave us time to get another beer.
Brett's telling us Brett, we had the computer crashed on us, and everything got crazy, and
We shouldn't
now
still
we're
be
coming
frozen.
back up.
We should still be.
No.
We should be back. I hope.
Yeah, we should be good. Good old technology.
Take two.
What's that?
Take two.
Yeah,
Take two.
is that? Are you hooked up there?
I'm already.
All right. Cool. All right. Okay. I'm glad we got beer here. It comes in handy in times like this.
Indeed.
Y'all, we think we are fixed, so we're going to get back into it.
Sweet.
All right. Here we go.
Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
Now, back to the Beer Guys radio show.
Welcome back to the Beer Guys Radio Show. I want to give a quick shout out to one of our great radio affiliates, KCPX 1490 AM in Moab, Utah. Catch Beer Guys Radio and KCPX every Saturday at 3 p.m. Now let's get back to Covert Artisan Ales.
Covert Artisan Ales, Sioux Falls, South Dakota. We're drinking all of their fantabulous beers. And we have Printemps here, Stacey. How close was I on the name?
I would say a perfect 10.
There we go.
Nice
Good stuff.
The judges say a perfect 10.
Springtime.
I don't think I've ever gotten that.
Oh,
Just have to try harder, Dan. Try harder. Put the work in there. But we're enjoying this. This is really good. And Brian, what's that say? I don't have my glasses on.
It says wild ale fermented, conditioned in red wine barrels and dry hopped with Nelson Sauvin hops.
Beautiful.
So there you go.
I am
all of those
about
things.
this. So as we went to break, Brian teased, and we're going to call it a tease, and we're not going to say that he tried to run the clock there. But
I always do.
Stacey, we'll start with you. What is the first sour beer that you had that kind of made you fall in love with the style here?
So the one that made me fall in love with sour beers was Duchess. We were
okay.
Well done.
Yep.
Well done.
We were at a going away party for a friend in Ghent, Belgium, and it was maybe 2:00 in the morning. We'd been having a great time. We did the kvac where the guy had to turn in his shoe to get the mud, and just obviously pre-COVID times, we were passing beers around. I was in the middle of being jolly and happy, and somebody handed me a Duchess. And I am not typically one at a loss for words, but I stopped mid-sentence, and I was like, what the F is this deliciousness? I had never really had a sour beer before, and it just hit all of the right notes. The fresh Duchess with like the balsamic and the vanilla, it was fantastic. And it set the bar super high because I've had some sours that Dan doesn't like when I use my best descriptive words. And I say things like it tastes like tuna fish or stomach
Yeah.
bile or
Oh,
cream corn.
This tastes like bile.
what's
This
the
isn't right.
vinegar thing? It's the type of acid. There's
Acetic?
acetic acid.
Yeah.
I
Oh.
actually like that, and I like that in the reds, the Flanders Reds. It has a bit of that
Yes.
acetic acid
Yeah.
in it.
Yeah,
Love it.
that
In
that
small
balsamic
amounts.
vinegar. Yeah.
Yeah.
My two controversial ones for sour beers is I occasionally get something that to me tastes like raw meat, and I get bile. So I'm like,
Bile.
this tastes like raw meat. This tastes like stomach bile. You know.
The bile
No,
one,
I'm
if
not
I
about
get that, I'm not as into that, but I do like that acetic acid. I do.
Okay.
I am not into bile either,
Yeah.
or raw
No.
meat.
That's
No.
I thought, Brian. I thought that's where he was going. Is like I don't
I
like
did.
the bile, but raw
I
meat.
did.
It needs that acetic
Mwah.
acid.
So yeah, that raw meat. Mwah.
Yeah, yeah. Dan, how
needs-
about you? What was the one that brought you in?
Well, I was pretty lucky in the sours that I've had. My first.
We've had the same sours though.
Yeah, yeah. Okay,
Not always.
gotcha.
No.
I got to go to Belgium a lot more than she did.
It's true.
But yeah, my first ever lambic was Cantillon's 50 North, and this
Okay.
was one of the earlier year ones. But the one that totally kind of blew my mind is when somebody taught me how to blend sours together.
Right.
And a friend of ours climbed up into the rafters and pulled down one of their first beers that they had ever made, a beer called Dirty Horse. And he had pulled the cork and it was completely flat. But it was phenomenal. It was one of
Distill
the
beer.
best. Yeah.
Easy.
And then he had blended it with other ones that he had. And that was, I think, the first time I had learned of like, well, what fruit is in this? I was like, there is no fruit. It's the bacteria.
It's
that does
all
this.
that,
And it
right?
just- from
Yeah.
that point, that stuck with me, and it was just so contagious. I had to learn more about it.
Yeah. See, that's what talking about the beer being still. I want me a box of still lambic. I want 5 liters of aluminum bag of lambic.
Yeah, they've
I
got
want to
them.
do that. I
Where-
want to do that. And
Primitive, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
right. And
Yeah.
Dan reminded me of what is probably my most controversial beer opinion, but in that is that Dre Fontaine is considerably better than Cantillon.
That's gonna get you some hate
Ooh.
mail.
Right?
Oh,
See?
I think
Look,
they're
I may
both
have just
equally
lost our
good.
guests.
Yeah, they
I
just
I
checked
know.
out.
I'm
That-
done.
We're done.
I think they're
Done.
both equally good. We
Okay,
have
fair enough.
plenty of Dree at the tap room. So,
Yeah.
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 but we
See,
would be
I
happy
knew.
to have plenty of Cantillon if they want
Right.
to ship it. To
Yeah.
So
South
anybody
Dakota.
that wants to send us samples for discussion, we will try them and decide.
Yeah.
There you go. Get it together. That's
That's
it.
we're open to that too. We changed
Yeah.
Tim's mind. Send us Cantillon
Change
and
my,
prove.
change
Yeah.
my mind.
Change Tim's mind. Prove
Change
prove
my
that Cantillon is better than Dre Fontaine.
I'm gonna
And,
make that meme that changed my
that's-
mind. Meme
Have
there.
you sitting
Yeah.
behind the desk?
That's
though,
right.
Yeah.
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 Put your head on the dude's body. That'd be great. You know, I've had a variety of different like I've never actually. Oh no! One time I partially bought a bottle of Cantillon with some other people. I've never been in a spot where I could actually buy one. I don't think.
Okay.
Except
Oh.
maybe on draft one time at the brick store.
I've
pub.
done mail order a few times to get them.
Well, to get Cantillon, no, that's
Yeah.
a unusual one. So
No, I said I have.
oh, you have.
Yeah.
So your
I've
argument-
done order before. Brian's like, no,
that
no.
it's like, well, not with me, but I was thinking Belgium in a box. I was never
Right.
successfully able to do it. Rip
Okay.
Belgium in a box,
Yeah.
but I've not had enough Cantillon to really know for 100% certainty that I prefer Dre Fontaine, but I do like Dre Fontaine, and it's more readily available. So a little bit of bias based upon it being what I can get.
So I will say that my opinion, because I've had more Dre Fontaine than I have Cantillon, but I've always been more impressed with the various Dre Fontaines I've had. Not that I haven't enjoyed Cantillon, but I will say that good old Dre has, I never forget about Dre.
Never forget.
Yeah, never. So Dan, we talked a little bit before the show. We're getting into the cooler months here, depending on the part of the country you're in. But one of the beautiful things for a brewer of wild ales is as you get into these cooler months, we run into the perfect season for spontaneous brewing. So can you share with us kind of, why that is and what you're looking for when you do a spontaneous brew?
I mean, the biggest thing I would say to anybody that wants to do spontaneous is there's an amazing group called Milk the Funk
Oh yes. Mhm.
that you should either check out their wiki or go on and join if you're on the Facebook
The
and you want to
Facebooks,
do
right?
that kind of stuff. Otherwise, you can just go to the wiki. But there's tons of instructions on that, also some opinions. For us, we've played around with spontaneous where the weather wasn't below 40 degrees. We've done some in the winter. We've had success on both ways. But typically, we've also done spontaneous saisons. We've done spontaneous turbid mash approach, like your official way that if you're trying to do the method traditional. We've done those. We've already done one this year, but we with now having the barrel house, we're going to do a lot more whenever we can. But when the months start getting too cold, we'll still continue to use the cool ship. And if they don't take off within like 5 or 6 days, we'll inoculate them from just our wild culture to let it
Okay.
run.
And do you have like a proper cool ship, wide, shallow, all that
Yep.
good fun
Yep,
stuff?
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how do you mitigate the risk when you're collecting it? Because I've heard that 40
You don't.
degrees is to get the
You
You
right.
don't, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
you don't. You just
Yeah.
That's the
Test it.
romance of it.
But
okay.
the lower temperature minimizes, like, more of the bad ones are not lively at that time.
Yeah.
Is that correct? Okay.
There's a reason why our spontaneous is called in fate pans.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you just have to look at what's happening and say, hey, that looks like that's going the right direction, or that looks like it's going the wrong direction, or do you analyze it? I'm just curious. Like,
Well, we're in a warehouse area, so
Yeah. You just have to wait because sometimes it'll
See how it
smell like
comes out,
corn,
sure.
and then you got to wait
Yeah.
that out.
I mean,
okay,
The
It,
sick
uh,
period. Gotta let it go through
a,
the sick.
a sick period of
It
the
can
wild
get-
beers. Yeah.
Can't they get ropey? Is it PDO that
Yeah.
is it the pediococcus that can make them ropey? And won't they? Is that one that will work through, or are you just kind of stuck with the
so
ropey?
Brett
beer?
will clean that up.
That's what. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had heard that usually it's like that's a weird period in it too, because if you have the other complementary bacteria, it chews through it. I've seen that. That is kind of a weird, scary thing to get weird ropey beer.
Ropey beer.
Yeah, especially something you've saved and like, oh my goodness, what happened here? I don't think I want to drink this. It looks scary. It's like, yeah, it's actually safe. It's just a weird
They're like, it'll
protein
be fine. There's
formation.
Brett in there.
It's
Just
like
let it set.
maple
Those
syrup.
yeah,
Like, you'll see it as stringy as that.
stringy and thick and just what you want in your glass,
Super
right?
Good
Good
appetizing.
Well, you're listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We do need to take another break, but we'll be back very soon with more from Covert Artisan Ales. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go.
All right. Two.
Y'all, we're going into our fourth segment here. So this is the last segment. Is there anything that we have not mentioned that you want us to make sure we let people know about Covert Artisan Ales?
I feel like there's like a lot of little stuff.
Okay. Sure.
I don't know. I think the attention to detail on stuff that Dan does, like the name and the logo and the colors,
I mean, we distribute ourselves. We do
self
in-house.
Distro. Gotcha. Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
We do the in-house graphic design. We've created the logo, and it wasn't just something that we kind of threw together. It has a meaning approach to it.
Okay. I gotta find. I did see that mentioned. We definitely gotta find
And
that.
Stacy loves talking about that stuff too.
I got it.
Oh,
It's fine.
okay.
It's
See,
fine.
yeah. All right.
I got
Well,
it.
there is also I noticed you had a fairly recent release. What is it? After school specials. We could bring up that. That's
Oh yeah.
it sounded interesting. It's
Well, it's a lot of things are challenges that Stacy kind of throws out up there. But do you think it's possible to do a peanut butter and jelly sour?
Yeah.
I'm never doing
PB&J
that.
sour, huh?
And then she's already planted
How-
that. And then like 3 months later, it'll be like, yeah, I think I would
Yeah, we
need to
got
use
this.
vanilla cookies try to imitate that white bread type thing.
Yeah. I want a chelada goza or a chelada lambic.
A chelada lambic.
Yeah.
That sounds
Clamato
really
chelada
gross.
Can we get a
lambic,
lambic
yeah.
that fermented on tomatoes, re-fermented on tomatoes?
I feel like that would
Somebody
taste
has
like
had to have
tomato
done that, though.
soup, like
Get
that
it in there.
cheesy kind of.
See,
That's what tomato soup. That's the only way he can get what he wants.
What are you drinking? It's a Michelada. It's a Michelada. Isn't that vodka in a can of Campbell's
Are those
soup?
goldfish crackers in that? What are you even doing?
Don't tell me how to live my life. So
It's a goldfish cracker pairing.
that's it.
That's right.
I mean, we do a lot of small batch stuff. So stuff that
Yeah.
I really want to get into is, so you'll always lose some volume from the barrels just from the Angel's Cut
Right.
and just absorption into the oak itself. But I want to do various different hop teas, but not just hop teas, but associating like simple syrups that you're infusing with different spices and herbs into it to kind of give some different flavor profiles.
Now, so the simple syrups, would those be used like serving your beers with, say, a shot of a simple syrup to accentuate, or is that something?
No, I would use that for
totally
bottle
separate you're talking-
conditioning.
For bottle conditioning. Okay, cool. So, and instead of, you'd pitch that as a sugar to bottle condition, your simple syrups that you would make and infuse. And do
It
you
makes sense in an IPA. It's like we want to bottle condition this IPA. What add a simple syrup that has a hop infusion in already.
Oh, yeah, you could.
Double down on your hops, right? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Or am I missing the mark here?
Well, I'm not sure.
It'd be more for
about IPAs and
saisons.
stuff. Yeah.
What's that?
Saisons or some
Oh,
wild
for
ales or
Saison.
mixed
Okay,
ferns.
yeah, fair enough. But I was just like, let's double down. I'm like, I don't know if anybody does
Brad's got
that.
hops on
Has
his
anybody
mind there.
can conditioning IPAs yet?
That's
Oh.
right. You know what? I think
Sweetwater bottle
Sweetwater.
conditions. I don't know about can, but I know they were
think I
definitely
heard
bottle
they were
conditioning.
even their cans were
Yep.
like a
Can you do
micro
that?
dose of yeast to get
Yeah, yeah.
you know, to kind of keep it there. So
Talk
Yep.
about zero dissolved oxygen right there, though.
Seriously.
Yeah,
right, eat it up there. But gotta play in a tricky game though.
Exactly.
Gotta
You
make
are
sure in a
introducing
can.
the possibility of things going awry on the shelf. If you get a little too much sugar in there, boom.
Look for Sweetwater's new balloon cans. Blowing up at a store near you.
Wasn't
Yeah,
there a
actually,
lot
say
of
now that
a lot
that's-
of breweries do that?
You know what? They should come out with, and this is my new idea for all the exploding cans. They should come out with pleated cans, so the cans have the opportunity to expand with pressure
Yeah.
without
That's
exploding.
it, yeah.
Pleated cans, just like fat guys wearing pleated pants. The pleats
Like the
expand out.
dryer hose.
Yeah.
That
It just
collapses.
it just expands out. You know, like if the pressure's too high, the can gives a little. You know?
You're a genius,
the-
Brian. No one's yeah.
The 1990s khakis.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Those pleats, they always look terrible on a fat guy, but they
Saved
expand
by the
to let
pleats.
you
Uh-huh.
give you a little extra room.
That's it.
So,
Got the
yeah.
pleats there.
So
They
cans
look
need
terrible
pleat.
on everybody. It's not just fat guys. It's
Everybody.
everybody.
No one
Yeah.
looked good in pleats.
I made a point at one point in my professional career to look around. I want no pleated pants because for a while you could not get
It was all pleated.
I was like, I
Yeah.
hate this. I hate these. They always look terrible. They make me look like a really weirdly shaped balloon, deformed balloon.
Sure,
don't
it
want
was
it.
the pants, Brian.
Yeah, exactly. It was the pants, Tim. I was beautiful. The pants were ugly. That's what I'm telling you. But I made a point of looking for those. And when I finally did find them, I'm like, these are the most beautiful pants I've ever seen.
These are the ones. They're pleat free.
After years of suffering through pleats, when you finally saw that like flush, oh, I can still remember it. Beautiful.
You are really having an emotional moment about those pleatless pants. That is-
I never
is
liked
good
them, Tim,
stuff.
but I think I would like pleated cans a lot. I think I would.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, real quick, Stacey, I have to share this with you because you mentioned the tomato soup beer. One of our saisons that was a controversial beer. We did a sun-dried tomato and basil saison.
Okay, how was that?
You know what?
Glorious.
It came out, a quote that we always share from one of our friends. I think you guys nailed exactly what you were going for here. I just don't ever want to drink it again. So, but we had another friend that said it was our favorite beer, their favorite beer that we'd ever done. So it was very polarizing if you like those flavors. And I will say this, I've never had a beer that paired better with a slice of pizza
It's true.
than that.
Oh.
beer did. So
Was
I mean,
it
that
better
sounds
cold
amazing.
or warm?
Ooh,
It was
the pizza or the beer?
beer. You know, I
beer.
think we typically kept it cool.
Cool. Yeah.
Cellary-ish. Celery-ish.
Celery-ish. Yes,
Celery-ish.
indeed.
Yeah.
You know, and the thing to keep in mind is the sun-dried tomatoes actually had, and it was a little bit surprising, they were a little bit more raisiny than tomatoey because they were sweet.
Oh.
A lot more
Yeah.
sweetness came through. We were sparing on the basil. So I mean, it was not hit you over the head type of situation. So it wasn't a tomato puree with basil in it. It was not. It was not pasta sauce. It was. Good.
It was not. It was.
Aren't there some breweries making stuff like that, like spaghetti beers and taco beers?
Yes.
Oh, I think there was a place that was making a pizza beer. Or
No one that I know that tried that said they liked it.
Oh,
Like everything I saw from the pizza beer is like, oh, it's awful, but it was the novelty of it. So,
yeah.
You know, I do think that what you did, Brian, was balanced. I think it offered up the flavors, and you know, I know Wild Heaven here does their smoked tomato beer for the Attack of the Killer Tomatoes
That's right.
Festival.
Yeah.
Who was it? Who did the Spontan Basil?
Oh, was it
Lindemans or one of
no?
the
Spontan Basil was
Oh.
it was either Mikkeller or maybe it was. I want to say it's Mikkeller.
It's a little basil beer there.
Either
So-
them or it maybe. No, I think it was. I think that was a Mikkeller thing. I'm not 100% sure, but the Spontan Basil, and I tried it, and it was, whew, boy, that was a lot of basil.
Quite basil.
Yeah, yeah, and it was quite pricey too, but at the same
Google
time, it
says
was a cool
Lindemans.
little trip. So
We'll start that one, Brian. I still
Yeah.
got some.
I think
so.
the only savory beer that I've ever actually enjoyed was the sour pickle that Martin House did.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Yeah, but
I
that's
have heard about that.
all of those. Like, can't do a whole lot of those.
I do enjoy those. I've had a couple of the sour pickle. We just got an email from Shiner that they've got a sour pickle goza coming around.
Oh,
So
I
yeah.
don't know.
Mute me up a second.
Didn't we
I'll
have?
grab
Who was it that was that here that we had somebody that did a was it Pickle Rick Goza or was
it?
that
Empire.
who was that
It was either Coastal Empire or the other Savannah Brewery.
Coastal?
Oh,
Yeah, I think it was
Rick.
Coastal Empire. Yeah, there was a Pickle Rick, and they had a
Yeah.
Rick mobile that was running around doing it, and yeah, so that had quite a few people chasing it around trying to get their hands on it. So
I'm Pickle Rick. What you got for me? Sheets
Oh.
hot dog beer. That sounds
That's disgusting.
terrible.
we
I
heard
would
about
totally
that.
try it.
we, I believe, we did a story on that
Yeah.
on the show.
That's
What
one of
was
those
Brussels
things.
sprout beer we had.
Yeah,
A
we've had
Brussels
Brussels
sprout
sprout
beer.
beer. And
Okay.
that was
In
in an
Belgium.
international beer fest in Belgium.
That sounds
Yeah.
awful.
It
So-
was not
Hey, Nick, go
pleasant.
back. I see Stacy has something to share there. Go back up there.
Oh.
Covert made a sour called Operation Dreamsicle. Orange and tangerine sour with notes of marshmallow and vanilla. Top draft with see?
Yes.
It's all
Yeah.
about the experience. Get
We
you some little
scooped
marshmallows on
Little
there.
marshmallows in there, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if we need to get into it on the show, but I saw somewhere that you were. I don't know if you're still doing it, but you were using vegan marshmallows at some point for that.
Yeah, it was for
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Was that a lactose intolerance thing, or is that just because they were great marshmallows and you like them?
No,
or? I was
marshmallows.
curious.
Marshmallows have gelatin in them, which are made from horses' hooves or ground up hooves. So that goes against vegan food kind of. It's got animal product in it, so
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
vegan marshmallows have tapioca, which is okay.
I didn't know that. Yeah, I don't know.
I
where
had
some of
no
this stuff
idea.
stuff
I
comes
assumed
from.
that
Yeah.
the marshmallows had like a lactose in them, and I heard vegan, and I'm like, well, you know what? I'm on board with that because
Yeah.
the more I can avoid lactose, the better off I am. I didn't know about the horse
Yeah.
food. But,
I don't
Yeah.
think
Marshmallows
lactose,
just have sugar and vanilla.
vanilla
oh, okay.
Okay.
Then I'm
And,
probably in the clear on those.
binding
Okay.
agent. Like
Yeah, the only difference between vegan and regular marshmallows is tapioca.
Mhm.
Okay.
I disagree
Okay.
with Gregory. Pleats are not
Gregory's.
awesome.
We've got one votes for pleats.
The 80s
here.
can stay back in the 80s where they belong.
Yeah.
Gregory coming in with the controversial pants opinion
Pants opinion.
here. So
Greg, we like you, man, but keep your pants comments.
that's right.
Keep your pants to yourself, sir.
Yeah.
He's going to come into the tap room totally pleated up this weekend.
He's going to add extra pleats to his
He's going to
pants.
start. It's just going to be pleats. Everything's
Start
gonna be
pleating his
pleated.
t-shirts.
Everything's pleated.
It'll be crazy.
Yes.
Look at these socks. You notice they're pleated.
Pleated
nice.
socks.
Yeah, he's gonna peg roll his pants just so we can notice that. And
Oh,
his feet.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a picture from me in probably 1990 where I've got peg jeans and I'm wearing my red suede Vision streetwear, and I've got my combat army jacket on and my rat bone skater t-shirt and stuff. So
Oh yeah. Yeah.
right. See,
Pleated
Yeah.
pants made it easy for that tight roll.
it did, man. Just
Yeah.
wrap it over there, bang. Tight rolled,
Yeah.
pegged up, looking fly. Yes.
Oh boy.
Good times. Good times. All
Were
right,
they, though?
y'all.
Were they?
Were they? They were, though.
I mean,
weren't they? I mean, maybe in hindsight, but at the time, good times.
yeah.
Right.
Who doesn't like neon everything?
Oh, yeah.
I
See?
did. It was a colorful time. I will give it that. That was enjoyable.
I'd go back and revisit. Give me that hot tub time machine. We'll go check
Hot
it out.
tub time
It was
machine.
hyper colorful time.
There you go.
Oh.
Anniversary party, the pleated
Pleats are mandatory.
mandatory pleats.
You know what? Just put that on a t-shirt. Like it's like, yeah, mandatory pleats. That's what's on the t-shirt. There you
No,
go.
anybody
Look at
trying to
that.
get in the
Oh
door
my
with
gosh.
pleats, y'all
See?
are no.
This show has just changed formats. It's no longer about beer.
It's pleat guys
It's
radio.
about pleats, parachute
Look.
pants, and I'm going to need a Michael Jackson jacket with a bunch of, you know what? I'm going to pleat that too. I'm going to pleat that leather.
Right.
It'll be pleats under the pockets, under each zipper.
Nice.
Put on there.
Yeah. So when they
Pleat
expand
everywhere.
out, you're
Yes.
like, yeah.
See?
Fantastic.
Man, this is great.
Looking forward to all the pleats. It's going to
This
be
is
fantastic.
Brian's like,
all
this is
that,
going to be great.
all this extra fabric that does nothing. I'm looking
Yes.
so
Yeah.
forward to it. We got all this fabric. What are we going to do? Fold it over on itself
So,
and
should
then
I cut
stitch it.
this to size?
No,
No.
no. Just fold it over on itself
No.
and give it a few stitches.
That's it.
That's good enough.
How
That's
about
good
this? Do it again.
enough. Do it one more time.
Oh, wait. Do it again.
That's a kilt now. Yeah.
Whew. Truth. Facts. Dropping facts here
All
on
right.
Beer Guys Radio.
Kilt Guys Radio. Here we go.
Y'all, we're sorry. We apologize for our behavior here. But how about we go in and talk some more beer?
Did we figure out what
Let's
we're
do
doing?
it.
Okay.
We did. We got some notes here.
Okay.
We're going to do this. We're ready. We're ready.
Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Next Friday is Hawaiian Shirt Day. So, if you want to, go ahead and wear a Hawaiian shirt and jeans.
Now, back to the Beer Guys Radio Show.
Welcome back to the Beer Guys Radio Show. If you enjoy the show, please consider supporting us on Patreon. Just go to patreon.com/beerguys. Patrons get cool perks like Beer Guys swag and commercial-free episodes. Now let's get back to Covert Artisan Ales.
Covert Artisan Ales. We have had a fantastic selection of some wild ales today. Gin barrels, rye barrels. We've got a quad that I haven't got into. I see by the look in your glasses, you guys are sipping quad. I'm
We
still on
are.
the last one. I'll get there. I will get there.
It is the closest thing to a stout that we've had. It's quite dark in color, but it's not
That
dark
doesn't
in
count,
flavor.
Brian.
Okay,
That
there
doesn't
you
count.
go.
Does not count.
Somebody did
but
say something about how they do great stouts, and we should
they
talk
did.
about those.
They did
Yes.
say that. They did
Yeah.
say so. We've got. There's all kinds of wild ales here and that, but you guys aren't all wild there. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
That's correct, Dan. That's right.
Yeah.
So
That's all you, Dan.
Oh, all right.
can
Oh,
I
yeah,
get
no.
a?
Oh, go ahead.
Go right ahead, Dan. Sorry about that.
No, we also do stouts. We only do imperial stouts. So typically, if it's not double digits, we're not gonna put it out.
No
we've
point
done-
in messing with that, right?
It's just not our style. We'll do some darker wild ales that will
Okay.
be lower ABV. But yeah, no, I mean, our stouts, we usually do a double mash or triple mash. It's not my favorite day because it usually with cleanup and everything is pushing
It's a
anywhere
long
from
day, right? Yeah.
16 to 24 hours.
Whew.
So those are like stay the night at the brewery.
Well, it gives you plenty of time to boil, though, right?
It does, yeah.
I
was gonna say, how much of that 24
shows?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It's like how much of that time that you're doing is not just mashing, but actually boiling. Like
Oh, that's a secret.
Okay.
The
all
secret.
right. Yeah, because I want to hear more than 2 hours. I actually want to hear more than 12 hours. But you
We've
know what?
done
I
that
wanna be greedy,
before,
so- Have you?
but
Yeah.
not typically. We will go anywhere between 5 or 6 hours.
Okay.
Okay.
Is
That's
the
a
standard that
Respectable.
doing.
Yes.
Respect.
Yes.
Respect.
Absolutely.
We talked to some, to some folks, and it just gets crazy. It's and I'm on board.
Hashtag boil boys.
I'm all for the boil, boys. Give me the 30-hour boil. I'm not mad at you for it. I will drink your motor oil.
It's
and be
interestingly
happy.
not uncommon here. All that extra boiling.
It is not.
Yeah.
We've talked to quite a few brewers that really put 12, 14, 24. Sleeping on the brew house deck. Keeping an eye on things.
I've been arguing for like a perpetual boil where it's like a Solera, except it's always boiling. You just add more beer into it, like the eternal flame, but except it's boiling beer. So it's eternally boiling, and you're only just pulling it off.
Bit run off
when you need some. It's like this has been boiling for 15 years. I mean,
How long
we
did
just
you
pull
boil?
off a little extra when we need a little bit more.
Now,
Just
if anybody is in Hawaii, they should be doing that. Like they should just have a kettle.
You know what? On the
over
lava flows, yeah,
Yeah.
why not? It's like all that free heat energy. Why
Just
not?
keep it going.
Just eternal
Yes.
boil.
That's a great idea, Brian. It is.
I agree.
Real minute of genius stuff right there. Brian.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, Dan, we just kind of free flowed today. We talked a lot about, the boiling beer and spontaneous brewing. We've talked a lot about the different flavors and such in beer and good talk on controversial opinions. But again, doing the rewind a little bit, you put a lot of detail into not just your beers, but even just on the front end, your name, your logo, your branding, and all that. All that carries meaning. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, definitely the covert aspect is to like a nod to Stacey and I's background. We're both combat veterans, so we've deployed multiple times to different areas. And then we've worked with agencies after we got out too. So the covert aspect actually, it's more than just kind of like a name.
Okay.
And with our logo, we have the Fox logo, which has worked out great for our labels. There's so many things you can kind of do with it, especially with the cans that we're able to do, and any of the stouts. But the Fox itself was Stacey's unit. Her unit was Sly Fox. So we've named beers Sly Fox before. Actually, our base Saison is called Sly Fox. And if we haven't put it in a barrel, we'll actually release it as Sly Fox. But the colors itself, they link up to military or actually DoD classification colors. So you're looking at like unclassified, classified, secret, and top secret. So the colors are there. And then I work a lot with geospatial intelligence.
Okay.
So there's a lot of vectors. And that's pretty much where my art kind of lies. I can do shape art.
All right. I'm a fan. I love that style. Like,
Yeah.
Don't let him fool you. His shape art goes way beyond just the little vectors and stuff on the. I mean, it's not little. It's our labels. We have some artwork in the brewery, in the tap room. This chair's awful. We have some artwork in the tap room that he's done out of barrel staves. We have like a 8x8 giant barrel stave fox that he's created.
Well, that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. The artistic ability goes way beyond just vectors.
What he can do with polygons would blow your mind. Too.
That's it.
That's what I'm hearing.
Rock and roll. He's a sculptor. No, but seriously, the logo, I really dig it. I like these simple designs, clean designs, I guess I should say, because they're not always simple to make a clean design like that.
True.
So, but I really dig those kind of designs.
And they can apply a new texture over top of it fairly readily and just
Yeah.
completely change up the kind of the idea, the concept of it. It works pretty well from what I've seen on the various labels we have.
Our original logo, we tried doing a little more like square lines on it, but it didn't quite look right. I don't think it conveyed the right message. But ours is still fairly simplistic.
Yeah.
Just simple.
Simple is difficult to do, but great when it works.
When it works,
yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So it's extreme, and a lot of people don't realize it. It's extremely tough to come up with a name that isn't taken.
Yes.
That isn't sure.
And then you think your ideas are so original, and when you put it to paper and then you watch a commercial, you're like, oh shit.
But there it is.
Oh,
there it is.
That's
Yeah.
where it is.
Yeah.
Oh, yep. All right.
You know,
We're
I
gonna
saw-
get sued.
I don't remember who it was. It was on Instagram. It may have been Don't Drink Beer that said this, but don't quote me on that. It was somebody that said legal weed is destroying craft beer in the name game. And they showed a couple of like legal weed strains, and it was like purple trash can hog stomp or something like that. Like just these insane names. It's like craft beer needs to step up. Legal weed has got the name game set.
We were ahead of the game with gas can Viking helmets. That was
We
the
were.
name of one of our
Yeah.
homebrews. I've never seen anybody else use it. It
Right.
was unique, and I bet you if you Google it now,
No,
we'd be the first result.
Stillwater ended up doing like vacuum cleaner and
Ah.
radio and things like. So what it came down to, y'all, is we ran into the same thing. Even with our homebrews, we think of what we thought was a unique name. We'd look, and it was, of course, already out there. And one of our friends said, just look at like whatever the first three items you see are. So we were brewing a beer, and I just looked around. I'm like, gas can Viking helmet, and then that became the beer name.
We only made it to 2 items. We're not overachievers.
They
here.
had
We
2
should-
words each, though. So
That's
I
true.
was gonna
That's
say,
true.
but you have a Viking helmet somewhere that was in
you
line
do,
of
you
sight.
here.
It's
Yeah,
just
like-
out. It's
like
just
right
out of frame.
now, I
Yeah.
have a Viking helmet in line of sight. So
I don't
Do
think
you-
we have a gas can.
do
in
you
here,
not,
though.
Stacy? Do you not?
You know, living in South Dakota with everybody here being Vikings fans, we do not. But that is
See?
very impressive.
Okay.
Yeah, she's a
yeah.
Steelers fan though.
I'm a
so-
Steelers fan. Yeah.
Okay, so you got
For
that,
people who
yes.
can't see it, no Mike Nate is wearing Viking.
No Mike Nate
Horns
wearing the
now.
Viking
Yeah.
helmet. So
Yes.
that
No, Mike Nate
normally-
wears it well.
There you go. It's a good look for you, man. You framed the picture quite well. We
Indeed.
actually just outside of our field of view here, we actually have a mannequin in the studio that we call Beer Niece. And Beer Niece is our model, so we dress her in different brewery clothes. And I think she's got a scarf on right now that
Has our logo.
Smalls
Yeah.
knit it for her, and
Very nice.
yeah, some sunglasses and
Catawba hat.
Catawba hat, and
Yeah.
she did have a Viking helmet until it was rudely stolen by No Mike Nate.
Yeah.
So-
At some point we'll revamp her look, but she's
Yeah,
looking pretty
she's
stylish
been going.
right now.
She's been,
Yeah.
been
yeah.
going.
Make
pretty
sure
good.
she gets pleats.
That. Oh, we do have to get
Oh,
that.
no.
The yoga
I
pants.
do
We'll,
it.
we'll
No.
pleat those yoga pants. Yeah.
Pleated yoga
Moving on.
pants.
No.
Yes. Dan's like, no, don't do this to me. Dan, we were talking some earlier about batch size. I know you mentioned your gin barrel was a small size barrel. What do you brew though, size wise? Like, how big's your brew house?
We have a 3-barrel.
A 3-barrel. Okay, so you're putting
Yeah.
in work there then to keep things going. And does that make it? Do you like brewing the smaller batches that size? Do you like small batch beers? You want?
I mean, I
A
could
20
say,
barrel?
yeah, I love it. This is amazing. But I mean,
Then, yeah, go with
it was
that, right?
ideally based
Yeah.
off of funds. So
Okay, sure.
there's justification. So we have not. We don't have any any investors. Stacy.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it's totally driven. And I mean, I couldn't imagine somebody with investors coming to Sioux Falls, South Dakota and be like, I got an idea. How about we do wild ales?
Let's do this. Sioux
What's
Falls.
wild ales?
Is Sioux Falls ready for wild ales? Are they loving it there? Or are they on board, or is it a lot of like ramping them up?
It's still an education process.
Okay.
We have a lot of tourism, and we
Yeah.
do get a lot of people from out of state that will
Right.
seek us out. And I think that's probably the only advantage I could ever see of Untapped, other than Untapped for Business does a really good job on the
Yeah.
the displays for
Getting
the
it out
tap room
there.
too.
Yes.
Yeah, on Untapped, we are like one of the top 35 nano breweries in the world.
Oh, very cool.
Very
Yeah.
nice. Yeah.
But that's
I've
all
tasted your
subjective.
beers. I
That
understand
could be
that.
changed at any
Yeah,
time.
no,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
Untapped. Yeah. That was total Untapped numbers. I completely get that.
That is always such a controversial thing, Untapped.
Absolutely.
You know,
Yeah.
and I guess it kind of depends on how it goes for you and what people say, but I refer to it.
Well,
I'll
it's
take
like
a look at it.
like any survey, any statistics. It's based on a certain population, but it has to be a population that has smartphones, that is willing to do the work to check into the beer, and that excludes a lot of people who drink beer regularly and enjoy good beer, but could not be bothered to spend the time on social media. So
Right.
it's an interesting group of people. I don't think it represents. We know it doesn't represent the whole
The
of
masses.
the beer
It's the
consumer.
beer
Not
scene.
even close.
Not
no,
even close.
No.
No.
Stacey, Dan, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate you sharing your beer, sharing your story, and your time with us. If folks want to find out more about what is happening at Covert Artisan Ales, what's the best way for them to do that?
We are on social media, on Instagram, Facebook, our website at covertartisanales.com. Give us a call too. Like, just we're
Holler.
pretty
Yeah.
down. Yeah, holler. Give
Holler.
us a call. We're
Yeah.
down to earth, and we'll just answer whatever.
Cool.
I don't think we've ever received a letter. So somebody send us a letter.
Mail 'em.
That would be
Yeah,
kind of
Mail 'em.
please.
Well, like a postcard.
telegram.
We should get
Yeah.
people. We heard you on Beer Guys Radio. Postcard.
Yeah.
Send them.
I
I
would
mean,
love
we've
to-
only had like maybe one letter, and it was always like, "Sorry for stealing your bottle opener. Here it is back."
Okay. All right.
Oh
Well,
my-
I guess that's not bad then. That's
Cross
not
chain.
bad. Yes. Well, awesome, y'all.
Um,
Thank you so much. We really do appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Can I
Cheers.
give a
Thanks for
quick
having us.
shout out to Jason Murphy for
Absolutely.
hooking us up?
Yep.
Yeah, so thank you, Jason Murphy, for hooking us up with the Beer Guys Radio from Porch Drinking.
Porch drinking. Porchdrinking.com.
And then there's,
Jason,
I guess
thank
one
you.
thing I would like to add is, if you guys have not come to Sioux Falls, you really are missing out. The beer community here is really good.
It is
There's
very cool.
amazing
fantastic.
IPAs, amazing stouts,
Yep.
lagers, wild ales.
Something for everyone.
The food is really good. It's small. We have amazing just parks that you can go check out. I would definitely come.
We're not just a flyover state.
Come visit South Dakota,
Not just a flyover state.
the Badlands. Well, that about
But we're
wraps
not on
up
the
for this
Badlands.
episode.
We're on the
east
good
side.
land side.
More of the good. See,
I think it's North
didn't know my
Dakota.
South
Yeah.
Dakota. I had the wrong Dakota there. My bad. So that does about wrap it up for this episode of the Beer Guys Radio Show. Come join us next week. Surprise guest. We had a cancellation, Brian.
Yes.
So we're trying to get things taken care of. Come back and join us. We thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great week. And don't forget to drink local. Cheers. There we go.
Cheers, you guys. Thank
Excuse
you
me.
so
That
much.
concludes the
Absolutely.
radio portion of it.
It does.
Yes.
We've got a pretty active little chat box here. Let's see what we got here.
A bunch of people. Wow.
I'm pretty sure it's just Greg and Tim maybe talking
Pleat
pleats,
meat.
making pleat plans. pleat
Jokes
plans
about
there.
pleats. Yeah.
Yes.
No.
Please,
Good time with it.
Please
meat.
stop.
Ooh, coffee
pleat
cake
up,
stout.
you know.
I love coffee cake. I
There we
love
go.
coffee. I
There
love
we go.
stouts.
Oh,
That's a
yeah,
beautiful
we
thing.
did that one. Yeah, barrel aged,
Yeah.
Stephen.
Okay. All right. Fox logo on a
Wow.
kayak. Just so much
Yeah.
great stuff happened.
Thank you, Tim.
And I tried to throw Badlands out there. I didn't remember my Dakota well
No,
enough.
Yeah, it's,
Badlands.
it's North
No, no.
Dakota, right?
Is,
Oh, is it
So-
South Dakota?
but it's on
Yeah.
the so
South
everything
Dakota
is
is
different
divided
side.
by a river.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. All right.
I've been through part of that. I
Yeah.
drove across country at one point in time and drove through that
In all
area.
fairness, I was 12 when I moved from Nebraska and the Dakotas. We used to go up to Yankton to
Oh my gosh.
Lewis and
All right.
Clark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lewis and Clark Resort. So when I was in scouting, that was the place we went to do all our outdoorsy stuff. We'd go up to
Okay.
Yankton. So
Yeah. There's
Yeah.
a couple frisbee golf places there too.
Okay.
Nice courses,
Yeah.
and then there's 2 breweries. You got
Good
Got our,
Backspace,
stuff,
and
yeah,
then
got our friends
Ben's.
at Backspace Brewing and Ben's Brewing.
we didn't have it. I don't think there was any of that back when
I
I,
don't
was
think you
going.
wanted to go there when you were 12, though.
No,
No.
You probably just wanted a soda or something.
That was it.
Saying, I
Right.
don't want to go scouting. I want to drink sour beers. Like, what?
That's right.
I wish
Yeah,
more
get
people
this-
said that.
Well, that's
I got
what our
my-
daughter was for when we were in
That's true.
Belgium. She would
Empty.
Oh my gosh.
she would always want to go in the back and be
Yes.
like, "All right, let me sip on it."
Yeah,
And then
she-
later
Oh
we-
yeah. Okay.
She was like,
All
"Let's
right.
go back there," and you're like, it's totally legal for you to drink with us.
she'd
Like
take a
we
beer
didn't
and
have
she'd
to
be like,
hide.
"Mm,
Little sips.
yes.
And how old? How old is she sipping? Is she sipping her limbics?
She was like 12.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. I get it. I think back to when I grew up in Nebraska, and we had a place there called Mel's. And
Mhm.
Mel's was like a liquor store in the back and a convenience store up front. And I remember as I got older, it was so weird. I used to go to the local liquor store bar to get penny candy, and that's like
That is weird.
Jolly
Yeah.
Ranchers and that. Like, I'd love to take a trip to Mel's to get that. You know what? I could get some Jolly Ranchers, then I could go up and off the counter get one of the room temperature pickled eggs or pickled sausages,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
and get me a
Very-
quart of beer to go.
Probably not going to kill you any of it, but maybe.
He's like,
but
"Son,
probably
you-
not.
It's pickled. You should be good.
Yeah.
See, it's pickled. You should be safe. Yeah. Y'all, we're going to let our online broadcast in, but hang tight with us for just a second. We'll be right back.
All right.
Everyone, thank you so much for tuning in, chatting with us, having a good time. It sounds like there is quite a fan base at Covert. We've really enjoyed the
Indeed.
beers here. So we'll be back next week. Come join us for more shows. We think we'll be
Yes.
back next week.
Yeah.
That's the plan. So we'll talk to you soon, y'all. Thanks so much. Cheers.